So, and speaking of number one defense in the league, boy, oh boy, am I glad Micah Parsons is a Green Bay Packer. Kurt McGirt,
Yes.
man. Kurt McGirt, go easy in there on everybody. He says, like the stream, you bums. We don't have to call them bums, but thank you for reminding everybody. Just hit that like button. We greatly appreciate it for sure. It helps boost the algorithm and lets other people know this show might not suck. And then they can come in here, watch live, and go, this show sucks. And they can just go on about their day. But we get a view. You know what I mean? That's the way it works. So, all right. Jordan Love's IG story. Thought it was awesome. He posted this picture of him and Micah Parsons coming off the field there in Arizona. Looks like might have been some kind of jersey swap there, too. As you see, Jordan looks like he's carrying a Cardinal jersey, I'm guessing. But
is that Harrison Jr.?
It may be. I don't know. I do know this, though. I love the fact that these two guys their arms are just locked, right? You could tell this. I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going to catch a little hell for it. I am not saying Micah Parsons is Reggie White, okay? I am not saying Jordan Love is Brett Favre. But Reggie and Brett kind of had that, if you'll remember, Reggie said in his presser, he saw Brett play the year before, and he wanted to come play with Brett Favre. That's one of the deciding factors, right? And I love the fact that Micah and Jordan, they already had kind of this friendship outside of, him playing for Dallas and obviously Jordan playing for Green Bay. It's really, really cool to see these two lock arms, Tim. This kind of feels, it has that same type of feel, of that 96 team. I keep coming back to that. This doesn't feel like the 2010 Packers. Everything I know about the 96 team, it kind of feels more like that. You got an elite edge rusher, right? Or defensive lineman, I should say. You've got a couple other guys on that defensive line that are really, really huge, intricate parts of getting pressure as well. Like kind of like a Rashawn Gary would be to say maybe a Vonnie Holiday or somebody like that, right? That were just key contributor players. I can't remember, was Sean, who was the other edge defender? I think he might have been on that 96 team. Sean, what was his name? Somebody in the chat will have it.
I thought it was Santana Dotson, wasn't it?
Yes, Santana Dotson. Did he play?
Yeah, he would have been on that team.
On the same defensive line? Did he play defensive line? I don't know.
I thought it was Gilbert, Santana.
I'll get it here in a minute. Sean Jones. There it is, Holmes.
Sean Jones.
Sean Jones.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, so, again, I'm just saying, like, that's what it feels like to me, Tim, and I love the fact that these two guys are lockstep on this, man.
Yeah, really, like, to me, it's, think of QB1 and going against Micah. We remember the boat race game a couple years ago in Dallas, right? I think it's that mutual respect that quarterbacks tend to have for these defensive players, being on opposite sides of the ball. I think about Brett Favre and Warren Sapp, going at it back in the day, and there was always kind of a little rivalry, but there was a mutual respect there. And then, you get on the same team with a guy like this that you've competed against. There's that respect there, and you guys want to pick each other up. And I think every quarterback one in the NFL's got their favorite guy on the defensive line or the edge room that he kind of is drawn to. And you see that chemistry with not just Jordan and Micah, but really Micah and a lot of guys on the offensive side of the ball. And it builds cohesiveness as a unit, and it's something to be proud of, really. I mean, we were kind of concerned about Micah before the trade was, finalized, thinking like, oh God, is this going to be a problem here? And he's had nothing but a great attitude and has really fit the mold of being the Green Bay Packers since he touched down. And we're seeing him just take off right now, really hitting his stride. We're not talking about him missing training camp anymore after what we saw yesterday, for sure. So a lot to be excited about with Micah.
Yeah. Pac-Man 44 says the 96 D-line, Reggie White, Brown, Santana Dotson, and Jones.
Dayton Jones, let's go.
Dayton Jones. Sean Jones with him in there. Got excited about Dayton back in the day.
You already know.
So yeah, hey, listen, Gilbert Brown too, man. What a fun competitor. He was great to watch. So
Tim, did you ever get a Gilbert burger?
No.
Do you know what those are?
I do have a vintage Gilbert Burger King poster though.
Somewhere. I was gonna say he was literally the Burger King.
I was going to say, man, you could probably have a vintage Gilbert burger that's set in the cabinet and it just stays preserved. All the videos of people that do that stuff with McDonald's, they'll take a cheeseburger, put it in the cabinet for 6 years, and open it back up, and it looks like the day you bought it. It's unbelievable, the preservatives there. But anyway, that's the story for today.
The grave digger, like Holmes says, for sure.
Thick.
All right. Micah Parsons. All right, let's continue this conversation. Rob Westerman with this tweet. Micah Parsons is currently the favorite to win NFL Defensive Player of the Year per Polymarket Sport. The odds, Micah Parsons, 36%. Nick Bonito, 30%. Pat Surtain, 28.5%, and Josh Hines Allen at 27.4%. That's a wild statistic there, boys, as we see Micah Parsons. That's a pretty good little lead there, 6% lead on the second place guy. Obviously, 3 sacks will do that for you, right? And I think it's awesome, too, that was the first time in Micah's career he's had 3 sacks in one game. Just something else that you can rub in Cowboys fans' faces. Like, what were y'all doing wrong down there, man? He's already gotten 3 sack game here, you know? So let's talk about that, though. What do you think the chances of Micah winning Defensive Player of the Year? Not that it really matters. I just kind of like keeping tabs on the market just to kind of see the odds and these type of things.
I think it would be clutch if a edge defender won it, period. Be awesome if it was Micah Parsons. Patrick Surtain is, we know what he brings to the table, and this is just one, whatever this is, Polymarket Sportsbook or whoever's making these odds, but it'd be awesome to get a Defensive Player of the Year out of Green Bay again. It's been a while. We're due.
Yeah. Drew D's point here is Parson has a narrative to win that, and I want to say that shouldn't matter. It definitely does. When you help with because what is it? Is it the same type of people that do like the AP voting?
I was just going to say, is Defensive Player of the Year the same as MVP? Is that the writer AP?
I think it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the Associated Press. I'm almost positive that's how that works.
So we know the narrative goes a long way with those type of people.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, that being said, I feel like he's definitely earning it. And this is him, I think, being, we kind of stopped talking about whether or not he was got his wind back, whether or not he got his conditioning back, whether or not he's came into the playbook over the last 2-3 weeks. But we have to remember, now, we're seeing maybe the fact that he is actually up to speed. He is up to speed, literally and figuratively. He has his conditioning underneath him. He now knows the playbook a little more. He's trusting his fellow linemen, his linebackers, everybody else. He's trusting the system. Hafley has more trust in him to maybe let him go a little more. I will say I am still somewhat frustrated sometimes when I see him and Gary not on the field. It's I would want us to maybe tailor a way where they're both, at least one of them's on the field. You know what I mean? If you got to start giving them breaks here and there, I understand that. I love Kingsley. I love Sorrell. I like the amount that we saw from Sorrell, but I want us to utilize. I mean, you look at the Max Crosby of the world, and they're out there playing damn near, 100%. Not that I want him to do that or think it's beneficial for that necessarily, but I do want to see. Let's get our money's worth here. We see what we can put him out there. He gets. I mean, who knows if he has maybe 3, 4, 5 more snaps in this game? Does he have 4 sacks? Who knows?
I like what Eric says here. Wait, Parsons has an 80-year-old back and can't defend the run. He's a horrible locker room guy. Don't forget. Make sure you guys remember.
Yeah,
it's hilarious, dude. Absolutely hilarious. So here is another statistic that got tweeted out by Jacob Morley, just kind of giving everybody an update on the pressures from the Cardinals game. All right, total pressures versus Arizona. And again, this is PFF. Take it for what you want. Again, go watch the tape yourself and you tally up the pressures. It's what PFF had logged. In that one game, Micah Parsons, 8 pressures. Quay Walker, 5 pressures. Carl Brooks, 5 pressures. Rashawn Gary with 4 pressures. Kobe Wooden with 3. Kingsley Enagbare with 2, and Evan Williams had 1 on that safety blitz. So, again, when you look at that, I mean, how many, what is that there? Let me do the math here real quick. It's 18, 22, 25, 27, 28 pressures, if I'm reading that correctly.
Is that good?
Yeah. And listen, it's another testament to Jacoby Brissett standing in there tall and making the throws when he had to, right? Because a good chunk of those, obviously, we didn't hit home on, right, Jacob? So you're affecting the pass, so you're affecting, the passing game itself. Those hits start to really add up by the end of the game. And I'm telling you, man, that Gary strip sack, that's another thing that pissed me off today. And I want to give a shout out to Steve on Twitter. I think he's in the comments on this right there. Steve Cook. We were messaging earlier today, and he was like, man, every sports talk show that I listen to, right? And same here. Every one of them, they would briefly mention the turnover that we created, but they didn't mention Rashawn Gary's name one time when mentioning that turnover. Now, why is that? Is Clayton being a conspiracy theorist here? Or could it be
drop?
Could it be
stupid copyright crap?
All last year, they dogged Rashawn Gary and made it sound like he's just absolute trash. And then he gets a Pro Bowl nod, right? He gets voted the Pro Bowl. He's the best run defending edge defender in the game, right? We have one of the best run defenses in the game. And, that Pro Bowl doesn't mean anything. Okay, cool. Comes out this year, he's leading the Packers in sacks. It's still, even with Micah Parsons, 3 sacks, Gary's still tied for the lead. because he got that strip sack yesterday. For Packers, leading in sacks. And that's why they won't mention it, because they can't stand the fact that they might be wrong. There's one on ESPN Milwaukee that I'm telling you, man, he thinks he's God's gift to Packer fans, like he knows everything. And boy, oh boy, does he get awful quiet when Rashawn Gary has a game. And then the second that Micah Parsons isn't getting any pressure, he's getting double teamed or whatever, Gary's got to do his part. He's got to do his part. Gary has done his part and more.
And then
he's getting paid half of what Micah Parsons is getting paid, which is worth mentioning as well. This isn't the dog Micah Parsons. It's just a point that put some respect on Rashawn Gary. All he does is keep his mouth shut, and he comes out and plays good football. That's what he does. And
he's a leader of men on that field too.
Yes,
damn right.
And I'll say this, Jacob. I want to get your take. Something else Steve said was like it's almost. I'm kind of putting Steve on blast here. I apologize, Steve, but it's kind of like almost like he pissed the media off in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And this is their way of kind of getting back, because you notice you don't ever see any exclusive interviews with Gary. It's very rare you see him sit down and give an in, because he's all about ball. That's it. There's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, go ahead.
I completely agree. It doesn't fit their narrative that they painted in previous years, and obviously then coming in, Micah Parsons is going to steal some of that thunder, most of the thunder, the spotlight. I just think it's been very, very impressive to what Gary has done, obviously on the field, but like you said, off the field, I haven't felt no hint of jealousy, no hint of any sort of like animosity for the fact that he maybe isn't getting the interviews that a guy of his caliber should get. We saw it on his draft night. The guy bawled his eyes out, and I mean that with no hate or making fun whatsoever. Like, you could tell that he loves football. He was blessed to be put on this earth to play football. He understands that. And I think that he understood what it meant, the gravity of him coming to a team like Green Bay, and him to actually put that on paper now, multiple years of being, like you said, if not if the best run defender last year on that edge position. You add a guy now like Parsons in the locker room. We've seen now what these guys, when they're playing at their best, can do as a compliment to each other. And I will remind you guys this, we still have LVN, who's been out of here. My boy Cox, once we get him unholstered, he's going to be firing off the line like crazy. You know what I mean? I mean, that's honest to God, with Sorrell, with LVN coming back. If we do have a guy like Kingsley getting in there with the best rotation, we may have the best rotating edge group by far in the National Football League. And that's exactly what you need as you are going down the stretch.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
Everybody double check this, but Holmes says Cox is on IR and can return by week 7 as far as he knows. So somebody wants to double check that. It sounds like he's pretty confident in that. So that's great news, obviously. So
I can't wait to get Cox back out there.
I bet you can't, Jacob. Tim, anything else you want to add to the
you read my mind, Clayton. I was going to say the same thing.
I love what Pac-Man says. No, you wouldn't. You liar. Gary is a locker room and team leader. Amen to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the statement that Jacob made is so true. He's all ball all the time. I mean, that guy wakes up and eats footballs for breakfast every morning. You can tell. And he demands that, much like we see the leadership from guys like Tucker Kraft and Josh Jacobs, workhorses, guys that lead by example. We saw Josh in the locker room yesterday, talking about, hey, I can't look you guys in the eye if I don't give it my all. And we know Rashawn is that dude as well. And so not to mention that, you can be upset about the contract all you want. I feel like, it's basically a team-friendly deal at this point, the output and the leadership that we get from Bane Gary. So, you Rashawn haters can, kiss both my cheeks, just like you Quay Walker haters can kiss both my cheeks.
So, all right, that broke me up. So the other thing I'll say about that too is they're just regurgitating what they heard. They hear the total contract, they tallied up per year and go, he's getting paid this much per year. And then you look at the cap hits, and the cap hits were 11 million, 17 million, 25 million, right? And now it's, now you got to pay for it. No, you don't. The guaranteed money's gone. You can move on if you want to. Now you got to make the decision on whether you want that guy on your roster or not, right? That's what it comes down to. So again, that's how Goody and Russ Ball make that always work. United Bates says, talking about Cox, he could have returned this week against the Cards, but he still hasn't been activated off the IR, so he's good to go once he is healthy, obviously. Deadfish says, Green Bay is a great place for guys that like to play football. Amen. There's nothing else going on, right? As we get ready to wrap up, obviously our one